minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. And let's go to the budget report.
So I'll just go over this real quickly with you all. About the biggest changes you're gonna see from last year, or from last month, is the actual current, you're starting to see the quarterly payments start to roll in. So we're still waiting for a couple more, so that will go up. But we're on track, and if you go to the next slide, Karen, it shows that these are everything we paid over the last month as well. The only things you really see on here that's different is gonna be the data link communication of Indiana. I believe it's back in December of last year, the board voted to approve $14,000 for cameras at some of the unstaffed centers. So that's gonna be the first payment. In total, it's gonna be $14,000, which you'll see probably next month. The next two invoices being paid out.
Do we hear a motion to approve the budget report as presented?
I'll move.
Wait a second.
Second.
Any questions?
I have a question. Veolia in 7 days collected,
So that's just when they
70.
submitted the invoices,
Oh,
when they got
okay.
paid. So they were
I was like,
separate.
man.
So that's gonna be for the has-been collection,
Yeah.
the hazardous materials, so Veolia's a contractor.
Right. I was at $72,000 in a week.
Does that represent?
We're in the wrong business.
Yeah, man.
Is that 2 months or is that?
I can't say off the top of my head, I would have to get that and let you know.
But that's not for a month or for a week.
No.
Yeah, that's the.
What about from the, are they open now, especially after the plane crash?
No, so that's something we have on here, but if I go ahead, has-been is currently closed because of the plane crash. Some of you may know has-been is on Great Lane. It's towards the outer loop section, but because the whole section shut down, the has-been is also currently shut down. So we've shifted those employees to help out at the staff recycle centers. We're also gonna get in there to the has-been and kind of do maintenance work that we need to get done as well.
So what about next month's bill then? Will we see a bill from them because it'll be shut down?
So you will see a bill. They're gonna go through there this Saturday and get material because they weren't, it's typically every Saturday they'll go through there. They didn't, obviously haven't made it yet, but because we still have material there that needs to be hauled away, you will see a bill because the plan is to get them in there Saturday.
Okay.
Just go ahead and get them in there to clean it out.
Thanks.
All right, any other questions on the budget report? All right, we have a motion to approve it in a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget report is approved. Let's move to correspondence to the board. Got an amendment to the solid waste management 5-year plan. Approval letter.
Congratulations to the staff.
Yeah, this is just saying it's approved, officially done, we've already gone through all the amendment process.
All right,
Congratulations.
yes. All right, any comment on the approval letter? Okay, let's move to old business. We have our request to join the Waste District Advisory Committee.
This was tabled from last month. Alex and Laura are both in attendance tonight if anyone wants to have a.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so just if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
So my name is Alex Heron. I'm with the Mayor's Office of Sustainability. I worked with Sumita Rao for about 9 months before she left, and so I hope to carry on her legacy here on the Waste Advisory Committee. I'm passionate about all areas of sustainability. It's kind of what drove me to get into the field, but especially waste. I've been partnering with Karen on lots of different things. One thing recently that we've been able to get through that I'm really excited about is we partnered with the Louisville Compost Co-op to offer composting services to any Louisville Metro government building that wants to sign up. And so far we have had 5 departments sign up. So hoping to get that, keep that going. But yeah, a little bit more about me on that slide there.
Laura Veldman, and I am with Smith Creek, and I work directly with Matt Smith, who has been on the advisory committee for many years. And he's ultimately he's kind of encouraged me to take his seat, as his capacity is thin now, and I have greater capacity, as well as I am a Jefferson County resident, so have a personal interest as well as a professional interest. And yeah, I'm gonna also give shout out, happily have worked closely with Karen and the No Waste team to help with yard waste education, really working to divert as much of that material as possible in landfill. So I've also got a 10-year career in traditional recycling as well, so I'm well versed in material management.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Alex.
I have one question.
Yes, Mr. Gibson.
How many spots, I'm sure you told me this before. How many spots do we have?
There's
Open?
15 total, and one is currently vacant, and that would be the one Alex would fill because Sumeda moved away
Okay.
and vacated the position that the Metro government employee holds. Matt Smith is still on the advisory committee technically, but Laura is hoping to replace him at his request. So there's 15 total.
Okay, so put in them both and then Smith will go off, still puts him at 15.
Yes.
Okay, she told me that before, I just didn't remember.
Are all 15 voting roles?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept both nominees for the advisory committee pending Mr. Smith's resignation from the board, so that what's her name?
Laura.
So Laura can actually join the board.
And I'd say.
Any further discussion about the pending approvals? All right, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, both requests to join the advisory committee are approved. Congratulations and welcome to the advisory committee.
The people who do all the real work.
All right, let's move on to the cost of services study.
This is again, like I guess something that had been tabled from last, I guess this request for funding was tabled. You all had asked
Mhm.
Robbie.
I'm right
Oh,
here.
there, you're right.
I moved to the
Yeah.
front.
Yes. So Robbie, I know that you sent kind of a synopsis of your findings, but if you could kind of
Yeah,
recap
so there
that.
were four main issues that Reptelis raised in terms of changes from the original contract. One, I'm kind of reading from my computer here. So one was that the Waste Management District, and I would say this includes the advisory board when they say that, asked a lot of technical questions that required more time, that they had to respond, Reptelis had to respond to challenges from third parties, that Waste Management District changed their policy directives mid-project, and then the Reptelis had to substantially revise the final report due to detailed feedback. So this was all, we had asked for clarification about what the basis was for the request for additional funds, and so we received a second letter that laid this out for us. Of those arguments that they presented, two of them we didn't find were valid. We thought the contract contemplated those issues, and that was the technical questions. They referenced, I think, 70 technical questions. I believe that was contemplated in the original contract, that they would have to receive feedback and then work with that feedback in terms of the draft. And then the other one that we found the contract had contemplated was the revision due to feedback. Those are kind of similar arguments, but we felt like the contract contemplated those issues. What we found that they might have some grounds for argument on were they received questions directly from third parties, and based off of memory, I think Rumpke, and then there was another third-party business that had directly asked questions to them. It didn't appear to me that that was actually contemplated in the contract, that they would have to answer questions from parties outside of the advisory board from Waste Management District. And then, mid-project, there was information that the board had voted on to exclude it dealing with, small cities and, the KRS that you all interpreted actually addressed the small cities. You had them exclude information out. I think they could make an argument that that was not contemplated in that original contract, that they would have to revise their, draft substantially based on that. I can't say what amount of work they had to do to revise it, so that's just going off of, the letter that was sent to us and how they interpreted the changes they had made. So of the arguments they made, we found that a couple of them, we felt like the original contract addressed, and a couple of them, they could make an argument that it had not. That was long-winded. I apologize if you all.
No,
No, that was
please,
good.
that was great.
That was good. What was the ask again?
The request was for $25,000 to finish the report, including revisions and presentations.
Okay.
As far as the third party, we do have Rumpke represented on the advisory committee. Do you see any grounds for that being, essentially included in that advisory committee scope, that the request that we sent?
This would all just be my kind of opinion on it. When you're dealing with these type of legal arguments where it's gray area, it's other people would make different arguments. What I saw was that it appeared that Rumpke had directly sent, I'm gonna say a letter, a series of questions. It looked like they had received the draft, and then based on the draft, it laid out a series of questions and then forwarded that to Raftellus to answer. And I think Raftellus could make a decent argument that they weren't required to answer questions from parties outside of the advisory board and this board.
Bruce, that's, I was going to you next.
As the chair of the advisory committee, I am employed by Rumpke. We were asked to review and recommend the study, yea or nay, to the 109 board. I took that study back amongst our professionals within our organization. And yes, I printed out 4 pages of questions on company letterhead. Those questions came through me to Raftellus as an advisory committee member and chair, not from Rumpke directly. So, I would just like to clarify that. And I think that's the same as came from Mr. Lee with Ecotech. He's a member of the advisory committee as well. Ms. Leonard is a member of the advisory committee, also submitted questions. So we were asked to go through what was published, a draft, and look for questions, if you will, that we in the industry are comfortable with, and we see discrepancies that what we consider to be significant. So, pardon me if I was a little bit hard on Raftellus' study, but that's just that's a brief list of questions. We can go into greater detail if you'd like.
And just to clarify, I don't see any issue with doing that per se, but whether or not it was contemplated in the contract was the question that I was answering. And I think it could be interpreted that those questions were coming directly from a third party, and that wouldn't be a completely unreasonable interpretation. If I were asked to argue that that is an improper interpretation, I would make that argument. I'm just saying I think they would have grounds to say that that was kind of outside of the scope of the original contract.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And I also appreciate that, and they were great questions, so and great comments, so I appreciated those too. I didn't print out a copy of the contract, so I'm doing this from memory. But there is a definition towards the front, if I recall, talking about a price contract. Now, it was really not well defined, let me say it that way. But the way I interpreted it, based on what was written, I read it as 183,000 is 183,000. That was the total for the contract, 183,000 and change. So that wouldn't be anything extra necessarily, the way that was written, though again, it was not written well, in my humble opinion, in that regard from a definition standpoint. But one thing that I had an issue with is that there were like three, I think it was like three set tasks, or lack of a better term, that were said, these are the tasks that the contractor is going to do. But then there was another 6 others that were quote unquote optional tasks. And it seems that some of those optional tasks were done too, or at least parts of them were. You know, the landfill stuff, et cetera. Landfill study, et cetera, was an optional task. So I would say 183,000, 183,000, but if you look at those optional tasks, as some of them have been done, they have, in my humble opinion, the right to ask for more because they did more work than what was set as required work under the contract. It wasn't the best written contract in my opinion, but because their proposal and their proposal, the boilerplate, the general conditions made up probably 95%, if not more, of the contract. There was like 5 bullet points that represented special conditions of what we as Metro would control. That's it. So we really didn't have much control over this contract as written. So in my humble opinion, we've got no choice. We got to pay this money. Whether it's 25,000 or 24,000 or 26,000, I don't know.
Does the advisory committee have a recommendation?
I want to make sure I express pleasure of the advisory committee, my vote was to ask 109 board strongly consider the additional $25,000 billed on an hourly basis based on a flat amount. And that way we can actually monitor the spend as it goes rather than one lump sum. That was a vote of the committee.
Okay. Robbie, does that sound reasonable?
That's not what that says though. Their request, okay, maybe I'm missing something.
Well, they're supposed to submit an itemized
Right.
report of their hours at the end of the contract, or the end of the report, or anyway. at the end of this whole study.
Have we seen it, or has staff seen those?
Well, I mean, we haven't reached
That's at the
the
end.
end of
That's
it,
at the end.
but I haven't.
Oh,
I
At
haven't
the end of
seen-
it.
But there's no monthly bill or something that they're submitting?
There is monthly billing, and that's part of the contract, but
But there's no
at the
hourly-
end of the study, they were supposed to submit like, an hourly billing and hourly accounting.
So, okay, is this 25 for work they've already done, then to finish, or is this 25 to finish?
It's kind of both in a way. I interpret it as both.
It's both. Okay, so they've already done some stuff that's baked into that, and they need the rest of it to finish up the product.
That's how I think that would be accurate.
Okay.
Draft, that first bullet point of the things that already being worked on. It's supposed to come by Friday.
It's like last meeting, I said they were working in the risk now already.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we cut a check for $25,000 and have Rep. Tellus send us monthly billing, hourly billings on how they're spending the $25,000.
With the cap of 25,000.
Yeah.
Right, yes, that's my motion.
I second that.
We have a
Oh,
second.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
I don't know if
I
it's
did want to
appropriate.
get your opinion on,
Did you ever?
I don't know if it's appropriate for me to interrupt in the middle of a vote. The one thing I found from the original contract, it really doesn't spell out what amount of, they raised issues with the amount of man hours that were going into it, the amount of questions that they're receiving from the board. I almost felt like that would warrant being fleshed out a little bit so that we don't
that you don't spend the 25,000, and then you ask so many questions that they then say, hey,
But-
you've exceeded it again. There might be some contemplation about how we approach that, and that might be something for us to do when we address the contract, but because I think the contract needs to be amended
Yes.
Yes.
to deal with this, that there might need to be consideration about, well, what are we getting for the 25,000, so that this is.
Yeah, I think it's,
This is the catch. This is it.
it's appropriate to spell all of that out, to say that this would be meant to get the project to completion, to cover, I don't know what the best way is to define that, but to make sure that they understand that when this gets to the 109 board or anyone else, there are going to be other questions. It's not just going to be present a PowerPoint and we're done.
As for all I know,
Yeah.
the advisory board might have more questions that they still.
Right, I mean, they're still updating a draft report, the new PowerPoint to the advisory committee is scheduled for January. I mean, I think it's only natural to expect that there's gonna be some conversation around
Right.
that
Yeah.
final draft before it even gets to us.
This gets us, yeah.
One thing that we could potentially do would be grant us the power to negotiate it with the right to spend up to 25,000, something of that nature, to where we're not just rubber stamping exactly that we're going to give them 25,000. We might need to figure out what that includes.
Yeah, it allows you to build a structure to get to that 25,000.
I don't think they're gonna have any trouble getting it, based on those ridiculous hourly rates.
Yeah.
They're almost like legal rates, no disrespect. to our
We're
legal
from
friends.
government, so I-
I mean, I've never seen consultant services for $260 an hour. I mean,
So before you give it to them, can you not spell it out? You have 4 bullet points, but what does that actually mean? What does
Yeah.
it all include?
So we would negotiate
Agreed,
a
yes.
contract, and then we would create that contract.
Mr. Gibson, would you accept
I
the
amend,
amendment?
I amend my motion to whatever he just said. Because if I try to re-say it again, I
Okay.
guarantee you I'll mess it up.
So it
Second
sounds
as
like
revised.
the motion on the floor is to allow the Jefferson County Attorney's
It wouldn't
Office.
be, and I should be more clear on this, it would be Public Works would negotiate it with, when we would assist in
Right.
writing the contract based on whatever
Okay,
agreement.
Public Works negotiate.
very
Okay.
good.
To allow for Public Works
To
to negotiate the amendment to the contract with a cap of $25,000.
Yes.
Okay,
For remaining services,
yes.
for all remaining services.
All right.
I accept.
So
And
amendment
seconded.
accepted and
And
seconded. Any further questions, feedback? All right, let's do a roll call vote since it's a pretty sizable
Very good.
amount of money. Let's start with Mr. Funk,
Aye.
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Ms. Magruder,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
And-
Yes.
All right, and the motion has passed. Thank you, Robbie, and the advisory committee as well.
You all had one more question for me from last meeting. I don't know if you want me to go ahead and knock it out, and then you don't have to hear me talk anymore. But you had asked about the draft had gone out, and then it had been, at least excerpts of it had been released, and you were wondering whether or not a draft was, I would say susceptible, just because I can't think of a better word, to open records request. And the draft is not susceptible to open. I don't believe the board had done anything, even giving it to Rumpke and I think it was Ecotech. It doesn't eliminate the fact that these are still drafts and it's not a final draft. So nothing that was done by the board would have made the draft itself susceptible to an open records request, but it doesn't keep like a member from sharing it as they did with these third parties. But as a draft, it's still a draft. So if there was no open records request, it would still be privileged up to the point that it became final.
Okay. Thank you for giving that feedback. So it could have been privileged information, but
But it's, well, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think I answered your question. If I did not.
No,
No,
you
no,
did,
that was
no,
great.
you did
Thank
fine. You did fine. Somebody just, okay,
okay.
I'll just leave that alone.
Do we have anything else to cover with the cost services study? Anything else from the advisory committee? All right, thank you. Let's move on to new business. All right,
I would like to mention, if you don't mind, this is the wording from chapter 51 about the chairperson. And then the bylaws actually say the board will elect the vice chair. I don't know, when I first sent the agenda, I don't know where I thought I had read that the board chair appoints the vice chair, but I later couldn't find it. So I think I was wrong on the agenda where it says chair appoints vice chair. I think the board actually does appoint the vice chair as well. And Deetra had held that position, so at this point, it was kind of looked at and like, oh, it's time to do all of this, so that's why it's on the agenda.
okay. Open the floor.
Currently, you served 1 year, so you would be eligible if you wanted to seek it and if the board, but so we don't have to replace you, but if somebody wants to stage a coup.
That's possible.
Not to sound
Is that what you do in the private sector?
A lot less messy.
So would you need to be renominated? Is that how? Okay.
I mean, are you interested in serving an additional term? If not, if so, no.
Yeah, if nominated, I would accept.
I nominate Mr. Sean Killeen as the chairman of the 109 board going in calendar year 26.
I happily second.
Any further nominations? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Just because I said the word.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much. Motion passes. I'm privileged to serve as chairperson for another term. And now on to the vacant vice chair position. I personally think that Mr. Gibson has a very good grasp of board meetings and is very knowledgeable, and my recommendation would be that we nominate Mr. Gibson.
I would happily second that also.
Are you okay?
I am.
It's okay.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, so we have a nomination seconded. All in favor of Mr. Gibson as the vice chair of the 109 board, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Congratulations, Mr. Gibson. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's move along. We're at the advisory committee report.
I apologize, it's kind of merged with the cost of services, so if there's any more decisions.
Yep.
I apologize, our report is very brief. We've been focused on the cost of services study. Pending, tonight's approval, whatnot, we'll try to wrap that up. Hopefully by the December meeting, and make a recommendation to you. I think with some answers, we're close. If not, until we're comfortable, I can't speak on behalf of everyone on the committee. It would be the committee's pleasure what to submit, but hopefully we get it to you in December. If not, January would be the latest.
Thank you, Mr. Burrow. And I know it's a lot of work, it's a lot of pressure, and I really appreciate the time and the energy that you guys have been putting into it. Thank you.
Team was worked very diligently on it, so we're gonna give it a little bit more.
Very well aware of the effort and certainly appreciate it. All right, so thank you for that. Let's move on to staff report.
Yeah, so that was just a has-been. We already talked about that, but I will real quick while we're at it, just let everyone know that Robbie Howard is no longer going to be the county attorney for the board. So how long have you been in this role? several years. So we appreciate his time and work that he's done over the last few years. I want to introduce Pat Mulvihill. Pat's going to be replacing him. He's got experience from years ago with the board and advisory committee. So if you want to say a word.
Yeah. Pat, do you mind stepping over here a little bit? Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. This is kind of comes full circle for me. I remember many moons ago, I worked with Pete and others. Keith Hackett, I think, was the director at the time. Gosh, that's been probably 2 decades ago. So it's nice to be back and get an opportunity to work with each of you on important issues. Please call upon me anytime. If I have any questions, I'll certainly ask Robbie. And these digs are much nicer than when we used to meet. So Merriweather was always I always said it was more garage type and dungeon type. This is very nice. It's got carpet things. Glad to be here.
This is great.
It looks different now. You'll see it next month.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate the introduction and welcome. And
John?
can we share
John?
Pat's information with the board members, please?
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask.
And what was your last
What
name,
was his
Pat?
name again?
Mulvihill,
Can you spell it, please?
MULVIHILL.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Side question about the Great Lane location, is there an estimated time when that might be
I don't have
reopened?
that right now.
Okay,
I'm waiting for it, but
understood.
I think it's still, pretty, a lot of moments there going on. Yeah, it's been still not sure.
Yeah, I figured it might even be into next year. Okay.
That's why.
Okay. All right, anything else from staff reports? All right, we have next on our agenda, public input. Anyone wishing to be heard on items pertaining to the agenda? So kind of open the floor over here. Mr. Flood, anything?
You have a new position.
Think of something.
All right. If there is no comment from the public, then we will continue to move forward. All right, it's been a nice, smooth meeting. All right, our next advisory committee meeting and 109 board meeting is on Wednesday, December 17th. Advisory committee at 4:30 and the 109 board meeting 5:30. We'll still be in this room.
Our room is very close. We just have internet connection issues. So it may be next month. I will be sure to put that out there. If you feel unsure that day, just email me and I will tell you.
Okay. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
Do we need to vote on that change at all or no? The meeting date? Matter of fact, do we vote on the schedule for it on an annual basis or not at the beginning of the year?
Well, I think
We looked at the calendar.
I thought so. I think we published December 17th as the meeting date at that
Did
time.
we?
Did we not?
Yeah,
Oh,
this one was changed, but the December meeting was scheduled.
okay, thanks.
So at the December meeting, we would schedule for 26, right?
Yeah, we can look at the whole calendar. I mean, typically the November and December are the only two that cause issues because of the two big holidays. But we can do that on that meeting.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. If there is nothing else, entertain a meeting, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any
Second.
Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Gee, the new chairman will